Oh, let's give thanks, praise to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach today. John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testifying me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you feed me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another and receive not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. But had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you don't believe his writings, you will not believe my words. Revelation 1:17. You blocking the walkway, son.
Shouldn't nobody walk.
Hold it. Hold it.
In the movie, you'll go.
You
sitting over there, son.
That nigga say he pee in the cup. Abigail, go put that in the trash. Thank you, Abigail. Revelation 1:17. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he said, and he laid his right hand upon me, saying to me, Shalom, man. Fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that lived and was dead, and behold, I'm alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and death. Now, let me ask y'all this question. This is for everyone who did not fully understand what he meant when he said, I am the first and the last, before we began this last week. You did? So Michael, the only one didn't understand? I'm talking about in totality. I'm talking about before we discussed it. Who did not understand what he meant when you read that statement? Yes, from the time we started this last week. Started last Saturday. Shalom, man. You did? For those of you who didn't understand what that meant, what did you think that it meant before beginning last week?
Kind of like this oil or fruit, whatever was put in that first one at the bottom. You kind of collect everything at the top before we put it in last, so the first to come out for that oil.
Right. Anybody else? What about you, Michael? Look like you're thinking real hard.
It's the one that, started everything, and he'll be the one to finish it.
I'm glad you mentioned the olive in the top part. We can deal with that too. Anybody else? What was anybody's perspective on? Now, y'all out here being timid. I go around the room. I'm not adverse to doing such a thing.
I mean, I don't want to come. I heard it say he created it.
Well, then you had a good handle of whether you know it or not on the gist of the matter. Now, of course, we went into, like Roger said, he didn't know before the amount of detail. All we did is just go in detail. Sounds like you understood the gist. Did you understand the gist of it? Do you know what that means, son, to be the first in the last? Because you've been absent like a nigga been skipping school. You been smoking in the boys' room? Because you've been skipping class.
I thought it means just what he was the first. He was the first creation of the. He was the first creation before anything was created. He was created. It's gonna be the end of all things.
Well, the first part of it, you got the gist of it, because that's what that Hebrew word refers to. Is ahead of time. See, you missed all the detail. See, you don't go back and pop. You know what I'm talking about? Because we got niggas on the block. See, that's your problem. You only want to swing when the trap open. Well, we got niggas on the block 24/7. You ain't even know that difference. You ain't know. You know that, don't you? Yeah, we got niggas on the block, man. You ain't know?
You know the first one, Jesus the true feeder.
Just he trying to tell you. They stay on the block, G. But you don't be copping though. You know what I'm saying? See what you like to do. As you like to go cop that bad dope, man. I be trying to tell you, man. You know, you can buy whatever you want to buy, man, but start smoking trash. You know what I'm saying? Don't beat yourself, nigga. Treat yourself. That's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But what are we ending with last night, right? What you call him? With Adam, right? But I got something else I want to discuss before we get to Adam. I need y'all to come over here to this 146th division of songs. I'm just buzzing your balls. You know, I'm buzzing your balls. 146, ma'am. All right. You can get it at verse 146. Now, last night when we were discussing the first and the last, who remembers the key components of the things that we discussed? Not all the minor details, but the key components. It was two major components that we focused on last night. Who recalls them? Well, I take that back. That would be 3. I forgot about Job. So you do got Job. You got Adam. So if we mention Adam, who else did we discuss with Adam in that regard? Abraham, and who else?
Moses.
And Moses. And we had another key point that we started at from the beginning. No. Where did we start at last night? We did start with a trace of a bishop, but what was that sprung from? That's right, with Isaac, right? Going to get his wife with that elder servant. Do you recall him? Yeah. The elder servant of his house who was sent out to get a wife. What was the key component of that particular matter? They can see the book, you know. I just said that. How you mean? I will allow it. What was those key components about the servant and Isaac that we discussed?
The eldest, the definition of eldest.
Indeed, but in what regard?
He was in charge of all he had.
That is correct. But in what regard? What is the framework that we use at that elder servant? Somebody shot at it though. The elder servant and Isaac. Who was the elder servant representative of when it came to Yahusha, and how was Isaac representative of Yahusha? Oh, that would be Abraham. Remember that the son of this what you call it? The elder servant was the son of man. Isaac is the son of Elohim. You know what I'm saying? So what you have to sit back and transition to understand is, in order to be able to get a bride or be the bride, if you would, you have to become a son of Elohim, which goes back to what John had his reference on what we're looking for. Oh, you looking for a shit? Oh, I ain't got none, baby. I got one for you.
Is that parallel when you talking about like not being of the seed of the promise, but not of the seed?
That's correct. And just like what this brother just said, Brother Saran just said, the elder brings the woman to Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? The elder servant is the one who brings the woman to Elohim, if you will, or to her husband. Because that's how that always works. You know what I'm saying? When you look at in ancient cultures, the elder, whether it be her father, older brother, whoever the case may be, they brought her to her husband. A woman didn't go out here looking for no husband. You know what I'm talking about? That didn't happen. That's why I find it funny when you always see women using Proverbs 18:21, talking about, he that findeth a wife, when nobody went looking for a wife. Wives were presented to them. You know what I'm saying? You only have one instance in the word when somebody went looking for a wife, per se. Do y'all know what that example is? Huh? No, it's not in Hosea. What tribe you talking about? Somebody coming to the door. That's Antoine. You in the area. It is in the book of Judges. Yeah. He's in the area in the book of Judges. Y'all remember what happened in the book of Judges? When them boys did what they did with the man. Y'all remember we talked about the priest from Bethlehem, Yehuda. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? In regards to him speaking to the woman, speaking to her heart and all that good stuff? Okay, and what happened after that? Brandon, what happened after they had done took that woman? And remember, what they did with her body? How many parts? Okay, when they cut it, you know what the body getting cut up in 12 parts, right? You know that, don't you, son? You don't know that? Or you weren't here for that, so that ain't your fault. Now you know what that is when they cut that body up in 12 parts, what that was for?
The only thing that I can think of is the salt and that bread.
No, ain't on that one. You close, but not close enough. You know what that meant when he cut that body up in 12 parts? She said breaking the bread up on Passover. No, I ain't trying.
12 disciples.
There you go.
Disciples.
So them 12 disciples out of all them coasts to preach that word. Ain't that what he did? 2 by 2, didn't it? 2 by 2. Because it was supposed to be representative of what? Of a message, was it not? Of a woman who had been slaughtered. And them apostles are representative of that woman's body, aka Mashiach's body. That's why I say you close. You were close with it. Just saying, if you'd have threw the apostles in it, we'd have gave you winner chicken dinner. But you didn't throw them in there. So we couldn't give you the dinner. Huh? No, you weren't gonna be. Man, I done told y'all that before. Don't worry about that one. 95% of the time, y'all be in the general vicinity, if not dead on the mark. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and let it roll on out there. You know what I'm talking about? So after they did that there, what happened between Asherah and Benjamin? There was a war going on. And what did everybody in Yasharal do towards Benjamin?
They got together to fight against them.
Yeah, that's been established. They did something else too. They had swore an oath that nobody would give their daughters to nobody in Benjamin. And then after that, there was a festival with young tender women who had never been touched with dance in the field. And they told Benjamin, hey, we done made an oath, we can't do it. But hey, y'all boy better go out there in that field. And any woman you lay hands on, that's going to be your wife. That's about the closest you ever seen to somebody going to look for a wife in this book. All that stepping to a woman talking about, hey, you find me attractive? I'm the man that you should allow to take care of you and do this. That's unheard of in ancient Eastern culture. Absolutely unheard of. But a man has to prove his value and worth to a woman. Only in America have you got to the point that you feel like you have to do that. That was never done because that girl's daddy said, you married him. And you know what she did? Yes, sir. And whether that nigga was ugly, short, tall, funky, or smelled great, she was going to love that man or she was going to go to hell. And she understood that completely. She going to love that man or she going to hell. So that's the same token when it comes to Yasharal. Yahushua, your husband. And you're going to love that man. And if you don't, you're going to hell. Similar to that. You got no option to choose and I don't want to be married to him. Well, shoot, then you don't want to be married, ho. That's what that boiled down to. And you know why it was like that, if you recall? Because of Leviticus 19, because what he told you not to do. Don't prostitute your daughter lest the land fall in the water. Because that's what doesn't happen. She got freedom to pick and choose, and the world done went down. The world was already bad already. But that didn't make it no better. Because now you have the advent of that. I can have sex with a woman and not have to do what Elohim has determined to do. That's what it happens. And then, of course, you can't give no young girl no freedom. Because you give her in, she's going to take 50 miles. And she's going to run them up. And guess what? You give Yasharal an inch, and they're going to take the whole world. Because they ain't got no good sense. Psalms 146:1, though. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah, oh my soul. While I live, I will praise Yahuwah. I will sing praises unto my Elohim while I have any being. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. His breath go forth, he returns to his earth, and that very day his thoughts perish. Didn't we read something similar to that last night in Psalms 49? In Psalms 49, what did we read about in correlation to Mark chapter 10? I'm just making sure it's at the front of your mind. No man can redeem his soul because you trust in your riches. See, the thing ain't never about the money. See, pause, since I said that. 1 Timothy chapter 6. It ain't never about the money. 1 Timothy 6:3, if you would. Well, you could make it 6:1. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 1. Abigail, are you okay? You look frustrated. Come here. Come here. Well, that's a stubborn baby. Because she mad. Let her stay mad. 1 Timothy 6:1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of Elohim and his doctrine be not blasphemed. What does that mean? What do you think that means, Brandon? Shoot, you got it in your face.
Slowly. The all masters, I guess those who have authority over them, let them be let you honor those who have authority over you, so that you won't give nobody leeway to speak against the
That's correct. Darius, can you give me an example in the text with that? Of somebody who gave honor to their master.
Joseph gave honor to Pharaoh.
You got that shoot. Joseph did that before Pharaoh. He gave honor to the master of his house, whose wife was trying to give him them yams. So you got an example for that? Or you just want to pat the baby on the back?
He gave honor to Laban.
That was rhetorical. You have an example of it? An example of somebody who was a servant who gave their master honor so the word would not be blasphemed. What about you, Lomata? That's correct, Saran. Saran got David to Saul. Oh, he took yours? Around that corner. Where your woman at?
Sick.
Oh, she needs to stay where she at. Be anybody.
Would you like this to Sarah?
I can allow it. I can allow it. You know who came to mind for me though? Daniel. Did Daniel buck up and did he give honor to Nebuchadnezzar and everybody over him? That's why that man loved him so much, did he not? Now, this is the reason why we mention this here, right? Because people see masters, right? And they go up wild with it. Now, let's just see what the Greek word is. Because, you know, they say that's what they used to keep the slaves in check. They didn't need the Bible to keep no slaves in check. Killing niggas was enough. At the end of the day, if we want to keep it hot, you can use the Bible all you want, but hanging somebody from a tree and beating them to oblivion and raping their wife in front of you is a strong influencer as well, is it not? I might say it in a jovial fashion, but that's a strong motivator. That's a strong motivator. The book just ain't nothing but icing on top. But people always kill me with that one there because they say they use it when them people don't even believe this book. When you got masters, that's a ruler. Could be your husband or absolute ruler or despot because the word is despotes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all familiar with the word despot? Y'all ain't never heard the word despot before? No, not desperado. A despot. A despot. Despot.
Close.
No, a despot is somebody you would be considered to be a dictator. Y'all familiar with Pol Pot? Pol Pot. Real person. Ruled over Cambodia. Slaughtered hundreds of thousands. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a modern. I wouldn't say Saddam Hussein would be a modern example of a despot because he was not as vicious. He wasn't a despot. He was simply a dictator. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he wasn't as vicious as he was portrayed, to be quite honest. Pol Pot, Hitler pales in comparison to Pol Pot.
What about Napoleon?
Napoleon was an army general. He was a colonist. A despot is an absolute ruler in a particular province. The reason why I say some of those people are not, Adolf Hitler was a planet politician. You know what I'm saying? He was put there in order to create the environment to bring about World War II because that was the agenda. And when they were through with him, they either faked his death or they killed him. Some people believe that he was still alive. He probably may have well been still alive because there were thousands of German scientists scattered all through South America. You know what I'm saying? Given different names and able to continue. So the likelihood that Hitler actually did not die is high because this is a historical fact. You can look it up for yourself. The number of people who they say died during the Jewish Holocaust is a lie. There were not even that many Jewish people on the earth at the time to go along with the numbers that they said who died. You look this up for yourself. It's not hidden information. Who else you mentioned? See, I would say Saddam Hussein was not because he was an army general. And he was not, he killed his enemies.
What about Xerxes?
Xerxes, you can read about him in the text. He could be considered to be a despot, but he wasn't a vicious individual. He didn't slaughter people. See, man, you got to understand something. These Caucasians put a lot of people who were absolute rulers out there who were not Caucasian and make it seem like that. Because you got to remember, a German person is not Caucasian. Well, they are from the Caucasus, but they're not Anglo-Saxon. Let me rephrase myself. They don't consider them to be their people. See, that's what y'all don't understand. You think that most white people are white people, and they're not. They know I'm Irish, I'm British, I'm German, I'm Slavic, I'm from Bosnia, I'm from Russia. And they get offended just like an Asian person don't get offended if you say they're Chinese. They don't look at it as you gotta realize there's different families in the earth. That's only in America where everybody think if you got the same skin tone that you the same. I'm here to tell you, boy, white people tell you quick, oh, no, sir, I'm Welsh.
I'm Russian and all of this type of stuff.
Yeah, because those are different people. They're not the same person. Joseph Stalin is an example of a despot. Y'all know who Joseph Stalin is?
Fidel Castro.
Fidel Castro had a bad reputation as well. That man was not, they didn't like Fidel Castro because he was not allowing them to make money anymore like they were previously making. He ran afoul with the mob because the mob had casinos, and he stopped that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I would say, don't worry about it.
Right.
Running off like that.
But yeah, that's what that was with Castro. Castro stopped their money. You know what I'm saying? No, now they said now what Cuban people have their perspective on it. They have a right to that perspective. They live there. I didn't. But as far as his reputation in America, it's because he stopped their money. Shalom, man. And Saran say over there in the islands, the English, the Scottish, the Welsh, and the Irish, they all hate each other. But there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to our people, them tribes, even there was the difference. In the book of Judges, what happened in the book of Judges? Y'all know something about the book of Judges? Where they had an opportunity where they could determine what somebody was from a different tribe. Do y'all recall that point in that story? It was that accent. They said, well, we know, boy, he don't say shibboleth like we say it. You know what I'm saying? That's just human nature. You have to understand that. A lot of people don't like it. It's called tribalism. They want you to be a part of what? Globalism. Where you discard your culture to be one. So you have to avoid that. Unless you in Elohim. Because of course we talked about that last night. If you in Elohim, it's one what? One heart, one body, one faith, one immersion, one Elohim who is in all and through all and in you all. But let's continue. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 2. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them because they are brethren, but rather do them service because they are faithful and beloved and partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. So he said, if you got somebody who got authority over you and they believe that you ought to conduct yourself in a particular fashion. That's why you can, where you got a little example of that. Hold on. Avon said that that's the same way people in America think real Africans are still considered black and they can't stand us, especially up north. I know I worked with plenty of them, and they will call a nigga lazy quick. I know people were upset with Akon because he said black people in America need to get over slavery You know what I'm saying? Though, because he was raised in synagogue. And of course, you're going to say that, sir, because you're not the descendants of those people. They got them slaves from there, but those weren't the same people. See, it's real easy to tell somebody to get over something when you don't have a connection to those who were a part of it. Now, in theory, when you know the word, yes, you should get over. But most of our people don't know the word. See, that's real easy to say to somebody who has not been traumatized. See, we were talking about this yesterday, man. Let me tell you something, man. Young black boys have a serious problem. You know the serious problem is? They can see their homeboy get his brains knocked out, and no one will ask him if he is okay. He will go along and continue in his everyday life as he did not just see a man's brain swell up to the size of a pumpkin. Because that's when that bullet hit your head swell. You know what I'm talking about? That is not a normal thing for a young man to see his friends get shot. You know what I'm talking about? To go to funerals. You 16, 17, 18, 20, 21 years old. Nobody don't ask you how you doing, are you okay? And you need somebody to talk to. Brewers walk around with constant trauma all day, every day, and then you wonder why this person is dysfunctional. Because that is not normal. I remember seeing my dog get shot right in the face. And dude went to try to kill him, but the gun jammed. And they were arguing about nothing. And then I turn around to see the police tell my homeboy, I do both the niggas. Let's see my homeboy on the ground shot. And he like, if you don't tell me who shot you, I'm not going to help you. Now, I'm like 19 years old. Now, I don't believe it had an adverse effect on me. But sit there and think about it. That's not something at 19 you're supposed to view. Now, just imagine this. It's people at 8, 9, 10 years old that see people get killed and see it every day. You know what I'm talking about? And then they go about their day. Ain't nobody asked him, was he straight? Ain't nobody asked you if you was okay. And they expect you to do. That's why I say when women talk about they know the most unprotected people on the earth, you a liar. Because that little black boy been unprotected his whole life. Because ain't nobody protect him from the environment that he was in and what he saw. And then nobody helped him understand how he felt by that environment as he became a man. And then you expected him to be a leader and a guide and a husband and a father. And this boy messed up in the head. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't got no guidance. He ain't got no coping skills, no coping mechanisms, no nothing. And then he got to deal with this woman telling him how he ain't this, that, there, and the third. And you wonder why these boys on drugs. And you wonder why they drunks. And you wonder why they lash out. Now, that's not the reason for a lot of them. It ain't no excuse for negative behavior. But I understand. People are traumatized out here. See, we like to blame it on slavery, and slavery play a role in it. But at the end of the day, it's just the environment you're in. If you live in a negative environment, that's going to have a negative effect on your mental state. But as I told you before, is it an excuse to stay that way? Oh, no, it's not. I can't give you nothing past 24. And I'm stretching it at 24. At 23, 24 years old, you start to realize you got a problem. There's something wrong with you. That was time for you to do something about it. By the time you get 30, you ain't got no excuses. You need to go do something about that. Nevertheless, verse 3. If any man teach otherwise, consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness. Do y'all recall what godliness means again? The fear of Elohim. If it's contrary to the teaching of the fear of Elohim, you don't need to be fooled with it. He is proud. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about with questions and strives of words. Wherefore come envy, strife, railings, and evil surmising. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw yourself. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men into destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which some coveted after. They have erred from the faith and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But you, O man of Elohim, flee these things. Follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. See, this is where you look at why when you trust in your riches. Wow, bro. You're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a real problem. You know what I'm talking about? Let's come back to Psalm 146. That's just regarding what we were talking about last night. Bro, you want niggas to cut trees down, man?
That's
146. We stopped at verse 4, right? We're in verse 5, actually. Happy is he that have Elohim, the Elohim of Jacob for his help. Whose hope is in Yahuwah his Elohim, which made heaven and earth and the sea and all that is therein, which keep truth forever, which execute judgment for the oppressed, which give food to the hungry, Yahuwah loose the prison. Oh, what did we just talk about with the hungry? No, I'm talking about the original point. What started that? All right, we referenced it again last night as well. You said that again? That's right, about the poor. He that is born into his kingdom is made poor, or is in want, or is hungry. Hungry for righteousness. Hungry for righteousness. So look at what he said he would do, right? He said he would what? He would give food to the hungry. Let's look at the things contained in giving food to the hungry. It should be words we are already familiar with. Of course, you got Lakim, which is the word you would know for food. And of course, you got Rob again for hungry. That's Raj Bat Naeem. And you know the son of the highest when you hunger for him. See, a lot of us don't have a hunger and a desire for him. See, that goes back to the point that we were talking about with those three men who forsook everything. Who was those three men again? Adam, Abraham, Moses. You know how Abraham, Adam, and Moses forsook everything that they had? Son? You know how they did it?
I know Abraham, he told him to leave.
That's correct.
Abraham just got up and left.
What about Adam and Moses, though?
Adam got kicked out.
Think you so he got kicked out?
Well, Adam got kicked out of the water. So you had to tell him to left. And I guess Moses gave up his spot, you know, being Pharaoh's right-hand man.
I give you that, but shoot, Adam ain't just kicked out. You don't think Adam necessarily volunteered for that?
Volunteered to lead the army.
Volunteered for that, whether you know it or not.
See, I didn't know he volunteered. I thought he was commanded to get out of the party.
Talking about volunteer, you know he ain't have to partake in that tree, right? You know he could have just let her die by herself. You know that, right?
Right.
So don't you know when he partook in it, he volunteered?
Don't Timothy reference, he said, Adam wouldn't be transgression.
Yeah, say the woman was in transgression. And say the woman was deceived. The woman, the one who rebelled. Oh, you weren't aware of that, what you saying?
Yeah, I was aware of that scripture.
That's not a scripture, son. That's a letter.
I mean, I was running nuts.
Come on around here and look at it then. 1 Timothy chapter 2. No, I was asking, did he realize that he volunteered for the task? Do you know why he volunteered for the task? Oh shoot, Brandon, you know why he volunteered for the task?
Well, I didn't know he actually volunteered.
Now, when we say volunteered, it's not saying that explicitly. It's having understanding to know that he did something that he did not have to do. You realize he didn't have to do that. See, matter of fact, pause. Come to Job 31. This is still with your first and the last. It's still the same play. Job 31, man. Let me just do it like this here, man. Let's bring something out the stash that we ain't pulled out the stash in a while. Job 31. Let me see what verse I want, man. Job 31 and 22. Go ahead and pull it out the stash. It's been a while. Job 31 and 22. Then let my arm fall off from my shoulder blade. Hold on, let me read 21. You know why he put it. He said, if I lifted up my hand against the fatherless, when I saw my help in the gate, then let my arm fall off from my shoulder blade and my arm be broken from the bone. What does that mean? You need to focus on the first half before you focus on the second.
If you know how you stretch your things out, you refuse.
Yeah, but you got to remember, right? This is Job talking. So you got to keep that in mind. This is Job talking. What did we talk about with Job? How he was the first and the last, right? And now his letter end was blessed greater than his beginning because he was a just man who was first and ended up being made last. And then in the end, he ended up being made first after he was made last. Job is stating that if he lifted up his hand against the fathers when he saw my help in the gate, let his arm fall off the shoulder blade and let his arms be broken. I could give you that if you want to go in that direction. If your eye offends you, pluck it off so that you don't be cast into hellfire. When you look at my help, it's simply Ezra, it's assistance, one who helps. So he said, if he lifted up his hand, you know what it is to lift up your hand, right? Well, I'll give you the word for it. It's new. You got noon, oo, and hey. It's to move to and fro. It is to be sprinkled. It is to brandish in a threat. To wave or shake the hand, a wave offering to be waved. So when you look at it, right, if I lifted up my hand in a threat against the fatherless, when I saw my help in the gate, let my arm fall off the shoulder blade. Let a bone be broke, my arm be broken from the bone. So I need you to think, right? You say talking about Mashiach being cut off from Abba, not at this particular junction. So what are you saying, right? Who are the fatherless? See, I can tell you who the fatherless is. Yasharal is the fatherless. How are they fatherless? So you ain't got no daddy no more, right? Why you ain't got no daddy? Because you a bastard child. Why you a bastard child? Because you don't listen. So now he said if he lifted up his hand against those who have no father, when he saw his help, put the trash. When he saw his help in the gate, or one who helps him. What did we just read in Psalms 146? Who is your help? Who is your help? Say you, who is your help, right? Now come over here to Matthew chapter 27. I'll show you what we're talking about. Oh, no. But I can see why y'all would say that. Because he's talking about lifting up your hand in an aggressive fashion, in a threatening fashion to the fatherless. So come over here to Matthew 27. I want to start this at Matthew 27. Might be 26 that I need. It's 26. Matthew chapter 26, right? You can pick it up at verse 49. He said, and forthwith he came to Yahushua and said, Hail, master, and kissed him. And Yahushua said unto him, Friend, wherefore are you come? Then they came they, and they laid hands on Yahushua and took it. And behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew a sword and struck the servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. And then said Yahushua unto them, Put up again your sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Think you not? Think you that I cannot now pray to my Abba? He shall presently give me more than 12 legions of Malachim. But now then shall how the scripture be fulfilled, that it thus must be. Now let's look at another instance, right? What it was. Dang, this nigga all crying. This made me lose my train of thought. Give me a moment. We'll come to 1 Peter chapter 2. Oh, that's what it was. We'll get to 1 Peter 2 and then in John chapter 18. Thank the Lord. 1 Peter chapter 2. Pick it up about verse 18. Ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. Ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. Well, you don't never make no noise, boy. I know what it is. That boy blocking your sunlight over there. He said he got that cowboy jersey on. He disgusted. That nigga said, we from Florida, cuz. Tell him. Said, we don't deal with niggas who like to ride horses. Oh, Texan nigga. That's what they were called. You know that's what they were called. Yeah. Man, you like, I'm a Texan. You used to wear cowboy boots, didn't you? I know it. That's just yeah. That's just what y'all do. That's just a rite of passage for y'all. I ain't mad. I can't be mad at you for that. Cause it seems like every nigga from Texas, you wear them belt buckles too, then. With the hat. With the long one on. Hey, that's their culture, man. I ain't mad. That's the deep south culture, y'all. That ain't deep south, man. That Texas, man. We in the deep south, man. We in the deep south, man. You know what we call y'all? We call y'all swamp niggas. Yeah, you know what niggas out the swamp do? Kill everything moving. That's true. 1 Peter 2 and 18. 1 Peter 2 and 18. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards Elohim endure grief suffering wrongfully. For what esteem is it when you're buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently. But if when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with Elohim. For even hereunto were you called, because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that we should follow in his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who when he was reviled not. And again, when he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously. Don't it tell you in that same Isaiah 53, he ain't do no violence? Let's go look at Isaiah 53 and see if it said he wouldn't do no violence. Because I didn't want to make sure that y'all see that. Because if he talking about lifting his hand up against the fathers, is he not talking about doing violence? That's what you lift your hand up for, ain't it? Okay, talk to me then. Let me see what verse I want, man. You can pick it up at verse 8. After that, John chapter 18. Y'all call niggas green down there, man?
No. We don't use the term green.
I could tell.
We don't use green. We call them cockroaches.
No. I don't know what you're talking about cockroaches for. I'm just talking about. Sound like something.
We call them roaches. That's what we use roaches.
No, when niggas say green here, that thing can mean a multitude of things.
Oh, man.
Like when I tell you you square as a pool table and green as the carpet, that just means you a lame. You ain't hip to the game. You don't know nothing. You're a novice. You're a rookie. But then you could be green and be like, that's a real mark move you pull. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on the user.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we call them.
Yeah, because y'all niggas took California culture. Them the game banging niggas came around there. Now you talking about cuz. You ain't no crib nigga.
That's what
You ain't no crib cuz. Ain't that what he did? That we talking about, I don't like red. Everybody in here got red right now. He tight. Paul. I what them boys say in New York when somebody upset. Tight right now, B. Paul. You know what I'm saying? All right, them shorts tight, ain't it? You can't breathe. We gotta get on you. That nigga seen on the dump. They say, hey, niggas on that dump truck. That a trash man. I'm proud of you, boy. You keep that job now. Don't you quit it like you did the last. You waited a long time for that one now. Well, you're in the position to do your thing. Now, I ain't being funny right now. Ain't being funny at all. Gotta pull that one down, my nigga. Isaiah 53:8. He was taken from prison and from judgment. Who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. He made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was there deceit in his mouth. So when you Job saying, if I did violence against the fatherless, let my arm be broken. Ain't that what it said? John chapter 18. Thank the Lord. My apologies. John chapter 19, verse 36. John chapter 19, verse 36. My apologies. 19:36. For all these things were done that the scripture should be fulfilled, and a bone of him shall not be broken. And another scripture said, they shall look on him whom they have pierced. He backed it up a little bit. Verse 33, what we needed. Verse 32, what we needed to read. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with him. But when they came to Yahushua and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs. Where do you know that by why not they didn't break his bones? Sacrifice with Passover, but guess what? You got another witness for it now. Because then Yahushua lift up. What did he tell Pilate? If my kingdom was of this world, what would his servants do? They would fight. He said, but my kingdom is not of this world. He never lifted up his hand against the Father. That's why, therefore, his arms can't be broken. Come on back to Job. See, you just thought that was a passage, Job just talking. Now, Job talking that talk, walking that walk. You understand? He's dealing with the master. You feel me?
Yeah.
Verse 23, Job 31. For destruction from my Elohim was a terror to me, and by the reason of his highness, I could not endure. What did it say when Yahushua said he was what? Exceedingly sorrowful under death? Did it not say he prayed so hard that sweat dripped down that it looked like blood? He said that man was a terror to him. He couldn't endure. And what happened because he couldn't endure? He was strengthened by Malachi. Oh, you just thought that was a story by Job. The whole time it's telling you the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. To keep on rolling them. If I have made gold my hope, or have said to find gold, you are my confidence. If I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gotten much, if I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness, and my heart have been secretly enticed, or my mouth have kissed my hand, this also were iniquity be punished by the judge, for I should have denied the Elohim that is above. Do you know how that parallels to the gospel, my friend?
He denied him.
No. You got to look at what come before that, son. Look at what come before that. Look at verse 24. Job 31. Look at verse 24 before you get to 28. Always do this. Look at me now, and I'm being serious. If I stop and ask you that, right? Because I see what you did. You focused on verse 28. I understand that. But you need to look at, okay, what was said between 24 and 27 so you can come up with your conclusion for verse 28.
Oh, this is when he was being tempted because he said,
there you go. See what I'm saying? You see when you slowed it down, How easy that was for you to catch.
Yeah.
Slow it down. You understand? So you see that, right? He said, if I do all this here, then I deny Elohim, because what they're saying offer him. Come over here to Luke chapter 4. Now, sometimes I be messing with you, but I be wanting you to slow it down and catch it.
Judas as well.
With Judas had already been stalked. See, Judas, I can see why you said that. See, Judas didn't even do it for the bread. Because you got to remember, this Job talking. So when we look at Judas, we're going to always see some wicked nigga talk. See, Job saying he a righteous man. So if I've been enticed and did any of these things, let this wrath come on me. You know what I'm saying? Because what he was trying to do in this instance was justify himself to his friends because they had been accusing him that he had to be a sinner. See, that's one thing you never do. If you ain't in the wrong, ain't no need for you to try to justify yourself to nobody. That's why we read that 1 Peter. Commit yourself to him that judges righteously. You don't need to try to prove that you ain't sinned or you ain't wrong to a nigga and you know you ain't wrong. Remember what I already told you about with Jacob and Laban? What did Jacob say? Y'all remember what Jacob told Laban before he slid up out of there? My righteousness will speak for me. You ain't got to do it. Always remember that. How many times I told you that? But I'm just saying that not in the words. But that's why I tell you that. If you know you not in the wrong, bro, man, fuck what a nigga talking about. Because at the end, Elohim gonna prove it out that you in the right. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to fight with them people. Let that wicked nigga be wicked and let him say what he got to say. Now, don't get me wrong. You got to have the wisdom to know when to check a nigga. Because sometimes you got to check a nigga. You know what I'm talking about? But all the time, you ain't really got to do that. You feel me? Luke chapter 4. Who is that making all that noise? Oh, what's wrong with that baby? He was quick with it, wasn't he? Luke 4 and 5. Ayana. You gonna let hey Leah, come here. Come here. You get me a water. That one, Leah. That one. You see them. Luke 4 and 5. And the devil taking him up into a high mountain showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give you, and the esteem of them, for it is delivered unto me and to whomsoever I will give it. If you will therefore worship me, all shall be yours.
Kind of off topic.
Go ahead, bro.
He gave you a message.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do that bread or something like that. He was about sacrifice.
Interesting. I haven't seen that. Who here is familiar about what he speaks? Huh?
I don't know what he said.
He said somebody in Avengers had to sacrifice themselves on the top of a mountain.
Yeah, that did.
You talking about Red Skull?
Yeah.
That was very.
And they were like, I need you.
I guess they was referencing because when I think about it, they did anything to my
I need you to a treasure I cannot yet pay myself.
This reminds me of, when, how these people are selling their souls for these riches.
Oh no, that's past selling souls for riches. Because these people not even selling their soul for riches, yo. You know why? Yeah, the cut, bro. Sean just put that at Thanos and Gamora.
Because they trying about
it don't be for riches. But listen, man, it don't be for riches, bro. That don't be for fame. That don't be for fame. People don't do all that stuff that they doing for the money because you're gonna get the money. They want the worship and the adoration. You understand? Don't you realize when most celebrities lose their spot, bro, they don't even be upset about losing the spot. They be upset about losing the fame.
That's what girl was talking about. When she did it, he was doing it for the power.
Yeah. No, I know why you would say that, but that's but I get all that, but bro, that's not what it's talking about when this one here is. When you got kids, it means to be to put together. So he put himself together with unrighteousness when they're talking about loving his flesh. But when you look at it, bro, he said the kingdoms. He didn't say money. He said kingdoms. He said the power and authority, rule. You know what I'm saying? Because he offered the man riches in Matthew. But in Luke, it show you that he offered him power. You can't offer me something that's already mine. You got to remember. Hold on. I think we didn't talk about this before. Yana, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Let me ask you this here, Antoine. Why would Satan offer Yahushua all the kingdoms of the world? Why would he offer him that?
Because he said,
I asked somebody else, son. Why you think he would offer him that? Y'all can answer that on here if you wish. You got something for me for that?
I would say it would give power.
Give him the power. Caleb, why would the adversary offer Yahushua all the kingdoms? I can give you that too. And I just seen you hit your white girl voice. I didn't even know you had one of those. Huh? Oh, I'm finna do it again. Deidre, why you think Hashatan offered Yahushua all the kingdoms? Mm-hmm. I can roll with that too. To see if he would go for the 10th. Okay, Kara. What about you, Kalisha? Hold on, I'm coming to everybody. Don't worry. What about you, Kalisha? I can see you. I just seen that orange blouse you got on, nigga. I can't hear you, girl. What you say? See what he was gonna do. Well, why you think the adversary offered that to the Lord? Give him what he was supposed to have ahead of time. What about you, Mom? See if he could go for it. Sean said to test his love for carnal things. What about you, Monte?
He skipped somebody in there.
Skip.
Shayla.
Well, I didn't know she was over there.
She got off in the corner.
I'll come back for you in a second. See if he different from man. What about you, Stanley? No, it's in his heart. What about you, Shayla? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I bet you, boy. What about you, sir?
Because it said the earth was given into the hand of the wicked.
That's not what that verse means, but I understand why you would say that. What about you? Tyson, what about you? Do what is desired. What about you, son?
Shoot. Yeah, that's what he had. That was his anyway. So it was like trying to get him to get it before it was his time.
What about you, Darius? New covenant for the time. Why do you think that? I was getting to you, Lee. Why do you think Satan offered all the kingdoms to the Lord?
Weird my answer. I think because he already knew it was his. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
He already knew it was his. So I don't.
Okay, sir. You in the back. To go against Abba? Okay, Jessica. Right, Loma. Huh?
What is the white? No.
Ain't got nothing to do with you.
I don't want to say the same thing.
That doesn't matter. Enticing flesh. Michael. Holding out. What is that on your feet?
It's wrong.
Well then, stop it. Now, for those of you that mentioned that to get him to get something that was already his, that's more in line. Remember what we talking about? Did he not forsake everything that he had? So was he not offering him what was already his? But what had to occur for that man to get those kingdoms? So he had to die first. That goes back to what you were talking about Lucifer. Would you like to hear it? Do you really want to hear it? Saying that so I can get along?
No, sir.
Why are you talking like that?
I'm telling you, you're talking like a 7-year-old.
Like you in the boot camp.
I'm offended. Yes, sir. Got time to be fooled up with you. But that's why he offered it to him. Let's come out of Job 31. Because we done went over that before, so I was trying to see if y'all remember. The Job situation is not a wrong pathway in it as well, in regards to see if you would take something and go against Elohim to his faith, but it's more so you can't offer me what's already mine.
Ain't no temptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his desire was to rule. Not even his desire, that's what he's promised. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking about that. It said can't tempt the Lord with no vagina. You know what I'm talking about? The man ain't moved by no vagina. But remember, that goes back to what we were talking about, how I say the man of sin will have no desire for women. The Lord didn't have no desire for women. Not because he's a homosexual, because that's not a part of my purpose. I'm not concerned with that. That's what you want. See, that's what happens when you're a man of purpose. You have no desire for women. And the average woman can't understand that. I seen a video where the dude asking a man tell you no for sex. All the women said, absolutely not. He must be gay. I'll take it. This, that, there, and the third. Because again, a woman couldn't even fathom the fact if a nigga told her no. You know what I'm saying? If a man would have said, if a woman tell you no, what you gonna do? And he said he gonna take it. Oh, that nigga's getting excoriated through the four corners of the earth. You know what I'm talking about? You can't take no vagina, but she gonna tell you how you gonna take some penis? How is that possible? It ain't possible. You ain't take nothing. He wanted to give it to you.
Yeah.
Straight up and down. A penis cannot be taken. If that nigga's conscious, that nigga got the thrust. That is a part of the play. You know what I'm talking about? What, you done raped somebody?
You tripped out by the thrust now.
You act like you a virgin or something. You ain't new to the game. Ain't nobody in here pure. I ain't talking about the church. They don't count. They don't even know what those things are for other than passing out bodily waste. And prayerfully, the Lord come back before they figure out what to do with it. But at this rate, they don't look like that's the case. So we got to train them right. Definitely the case. Don't need them to be figuring out, boy, I'm feeling hot and I don't know why. That means they too grown. That means somebody got to die. So that's a harsh reality of life, though. Harsh reality of life. Job 31:29. If I rejoice at the destruction of him that hated me, or lifted up myself when evil found him, neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. And you know what that is? See, that take you back to where he sat back and told his apostles what? You don't know what manner of spirit you are. We come to save men lying, not to destroy them. When did you ever see Yahushua lift up his mouth to wish a curse to any of his enemies with the scribes and the Pharisees? You ain't seen him do it once. When he had back and they brought that woman around there, he didn't say, I curse you to hell. He said, he without sin cast the first stone. He said, when they cast out demons by Beelzebub, what was his response? He said, go to your kids and see who they cast them out by and let them be the judge. He never cursed them people. You know what I'm talking about? And again, he's telling you the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. Because Yahuwah didn't turn around and curse you and wish no curse on you. You cursed yourself. Job 31 and 31. If the men of my tabernacle said, oh, that we had of his flesh, we cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler. Pause. Men of my tabernacle said, oh, said not, oh, that we had of his flesh. We cannot be satisfied. What does that refer to? You get your Passover, but let's go to John chapter 6 to be more specific. Tabernacle is his body. He said, if the men of his house. And give you that one up. See, I'm gonna go a little further. I'm gonna go a little further with it because you're not wrong. 6. Because you're not wrong at all. When you look at we cannot be satisfied, that is savah, right? That's to be satiated or to be weary, to enrich. So he's telling you, if the men of my house said not, so they didn't say this. I'm gonna get you said not, which is a mar, to speak or to utter or to avow. If the men of my tabernacle avow, oh, that we had not be satisfied. So he said that they would not be able to say that or utter that out of their mouth. John chapter 6, verse 53. Matter of fact, make it 47. You can make it 48. John 6 and 48. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which come down from Shamahim, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which come down from Shamahim. If any man eat of his bread, he shall live. Eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Then Yahushua said unto them, let it reconnect. All right. Then Yahushua said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoso eat my flesh and drink my blood have eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eat my flesh and drink my blood dwell in me, and I in him. The men in his tabernacle will never be able to say that he did not give him his body to offer. Now, when you look at the stranger did not lodge in the street, but I open my doors to the traveler. Well, let's look at what traveler means. Traveler is a rock, which is, you know what that is, a way of life. If I have not opened the doors to those of the way of life. You say the stranger did not lodge being loom, which is to pass the night or to abide. He did not allow them to abide in the street. What does the law say about the stranger? That does say that. That ain't what I'm looking for, though. What does the law say about the stranger? Huh? Well, I mean, whatever you can recall that the law says about the stranger, because there's multiple points. I'm going to see who's the point that we're looking for. It says that that's correct. That ain't what I'm looking for, but those are correct answers. But he says that he loves the stranger in Deuteronomy 10. Is that not what he said? He loves the stranger. And all the answers y'all saying are correct. Now, don't get me wrong. But that was the one that I was looking for, that he loveth the stranger. So he would not let the stranger pass by in the street all night. You understand? But he said he opened the doors to those who are of that way of life. Come to Romans chapter 2 for a more critical analysis of that point. Yes, ma'am. I want you to come to Romans chapter 2. I want you to pick it up at verse 9. We're going to talk about Lucifer for you real quick, Michael. Does that please you? Just want to see if you were going to keep talking to me like that. Where your husband at? Mike Lee show up for the Sabbath. He got a who? It ain't right. I am. You said that like I would. Right now? Absolutely not. I gotta look him in his eyes. He gotta smell my cologne. You know what I'm talking about? That bond number 9. I ain't got bond number 9 on the day though. I got 1 million prevail on the day. But I got bond number 9. I'm gonna make sure I have it on when I see him too. Huh? You know about that bond number 9? Shoot, nigga, that bond number 9. You know what I'm saying? You might have been able to get you some that night, boy. You would have been laying in the bed dry. It's been proved. Romans 2:9. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump in my car and hit the gas. That nigga say, you Popeyes. Listen what he say, right? Tribulation, anguish upon every soul that do evil, of the Yahudim first and also of the Gentile. Esteem and honor and shalom to every man that work good, to the Yahudim first and also to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with Elohim. For as many have sinned without Torah shall also perish without Torah. And as many have sinned in Torah shall be judged by Torah. Do y'all remember what that means? What does it mean? Now listen to it, right? He say many have sinned without the law, gonna die without it. Many who sin in it, gonna be judged by it. It's a scriptural example for it. Go ahead and tell them, Stanley.
That's the Canaanites.
That's them Canaanites. When we was in the land, they didn't have the law, and they perished without it. If you was in the land and you had it, and you got what? Judged by it. See, that's my point again. When you be like, oh, don't be talking, but see, Paul knew that book. See, you knew that book, you know exactly what he was saying, because that's pretty crystal clear, you know, word. But we go right in the law and see that them Canaanites and them Jebusites and them Hivites and them Hittites, they all perished without that law, did they not? What? That's what they did. That's what happened. But you went in that land and you had the law, didn't you? And you got judged right by it. So guess what? Just because you ain't got no word don't mean, oh, they ain't hear the word, so they can't go to hell. Oh, nigga, you going. Oh, you going. Because don't you know that's a wicked nigga biggest talk. But what if they ain't never heard it? It don't matter. Canaanites ain't never heard it. He killed them, though. You know why he killed them? Because he said they were doing all this stuff in my land and I abhorred them. They in there sacrificing children to Molech. They in there playing with young men booty holes. They around here sleeping with each other's wives, laying at their neighbor's house. Ain't got no shame. Worshiping all manner of idol gods. And you see, look at man, that's why he did that when you came in the land. So on the back end, ain't nobody say, well, I ain't hear the gospel, so I can't die. Lying to me. You're lying to me. And guess what? If you heard the gospel and you told to go against it, the same gospel you buck, that's what you're dying by. So ain't no way around it. Now guess what? Let me ask you this. Did Pharaoh them hear the law? But they so died, didn't play with it. Play with it. You ain't hear no law. You got to hear nothing. You're going to hear that sword go upside your head. That's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear that man say, depart from me, you work of iniquity. I never knew you.
He said he didn't hear the law, like, even though he heard, like, the messages that y'all was giving him, that's not considered.
He didn't get no message. He said strictly that he raised Pharaoh up to show his power in Pharaoh, that the whole world would know that Yahuwah was the one who destroyed Egypt. You know, I ain't being like that serious. Because he tell you that, I want to say in Exodus chapter 6. On purpose. But in chapter 6, if my memory serves me correctly, it literally states that I have raised you up to show my power in you, which is also in relation to Mashiach as well, because he raised Mashiach up and crucified him to show his power in him, because Mashiach is a similitude of Pharaoh as well. You talking about in Jeremiah? And an example towards what? So I can follow what you asking, bro. So I didn't want y'all to keep that in mind. Just because somebody ain't heard no word don't mean that they can't suffer the penalty for it. It's just going to be a worse penalty for somebody who heard it and went against it.
Please say what something in Romans, like the elements, their witness.
Oh, yeah, we done talked about that before. That's Psalm 19, baby. You look at that sky right now, boy, gospel talking to you, boy. You done talked about that before. When that sun go down and that moon come out and them stars in the sky, that's gospel talking to you, boy. When you look at the trees when they bear fruit, well, that's gospel talking to you, boy. That literal word talking. He preaching the word with the fruit trees, man. He preaching the word when the sun rise and the moon come out. People ain't ready for that. Ain't no escaping, boy. You heard it. You just ain't know you heard it. But because he a merciful Elohim, he let everybody get a piece. See, sometimes, this is what people get it twisted. They feel like to hear the truth, you got to hear it from the Israelite. Who would never said that? He just said you got to hear what the book say. He didn't say nothing about if the nigga was righteous. He said it. Did he ever say that? What did Paul say, right? Paul made a statement, right? He said some people preach Mashiach out of contention and some out of shalom. He said, but either way, my heart rejoiced because Mashiach is preached. He said it didn't make no difference who did it, long as it was done. Because guess what? The nigga who doing it out of contention, he gonna answer for that. But either way it go, it got done. Because them Christian people was around here telling lies. If they said anything that was in line with the will of Elohim, well, you heard it, boy. You heard it, boy. Remember what we were talking about a week or so ago? Oh, but they did have the law. That was a direct directive from their father. But that was in the time of Jeremiah, so they knew the law. But I understand why you said it. This is what we were talking about, right? How the Christian church ain't got a lot of stuff wrong. Don't the Christian church believe that Yahushua is Elohim? Don't they believe that the Elohim in the old and the new is the same person? You know what I'm talking about? Huh? Some of them don't. I ain't saying all, but some do. So if you heard that from them, who you have not heard the truth? Have you not heard the truth? They teach he resurrected from the dead. Have you not heard the truth? Ain't no excuse. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, well, that was a Christian pastor, so that can't be the truth. I mean, I don't care who said it.
He said that we come from a Christian pastor.
What'd you say, D?
Oh no, I said they read it out the Bible.
Right, that's right.
But then don't it also say following after this false?
It's not about following after the false teacher, son, because even the scribes and Pharisees told the truth.
But did he say your punishment gonna be the same?
But that's the punishment ain't got nothing to do with the fact of if they told the truth or not.
Because Mashiach said, he said, do as they say.
But don't do as they do. If that man told you everything that was true, but he was a hypocrite, the words that he said are not made invalid because he's a hypocrite. That word's still true. Yeah, he going to hell, and if you follow behind him, and when he talk about following behind him, their works, he told you beware of the leaven of the scribes and the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. He told you the scribes and Pharisees said in Moses, see, everything they tell you to do. But he said, but don't do after their works, for they say and do not. Oh no. Well, no. But if that nigga was wicked as the day is long, everything he taught was true. Well, you're supposed to follow that word, not him. But if you followed after him and not that word, yeah, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. But the point of the matter is whether the dude is righteous or not for that word, the truth, boy. And you heard it. You know what I'm saying? No doubt.
Right.
Right.
That's mercy, though.
It is. Because if everything we had done pre, boy, if I was around here robbing niggas and sleeping with niggas, a whole bunch of niggas' wives, and doing all that in the third, but I don't change everything I said was accurate.
I think it is something else. It's not them ones.
Yeah, mine come off the stone. Deep cornerstone.
That's my question.
Oh yeah, it don't matter, bro. It don't matter. It don't matter. If it's word, bro. Don't matter. Truth is the truth. He never said nothing about it got to come out of this type of person. It's just if that person's sour, he gonna answer for that. He gonna answer for that. It's just very rarely that you have somebody who actually who live in sour and telling you a multitude of accurate things about Elohim. That's a very, very rare thing. Because for the most part, somebody who got truth with him, we got a lot of lies mixed in with it. It's gonna be a lot of bad dope mixed with that dope. They cut it. You know what I'm saying? How you used to do it back in the day. Because you didn't know what you were doing. So you were putting a whole bunch of baking soda in there, too much water. You know what I'm talking about? You got the 1,200 jar or the 1,500 jar trying to drop 7 grams in there. That's trash. I'm just messing with you. We used to do it, but not 7. We put 14 and 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Stretching.
Turn it to the lock.
Ain't no locking, nigga. That junk thin. Stir it to the lock. Boy, them glass in your head, boy.
You supposed to stir it to the lock.
Well, you don't know how to cook my dough.
You better get that food a couple minutes ago.
That junk was a trophy, man. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the worst dishes that I have ever tasted in my entire existence. White boy talking about he could cook and made some Alfredo. It was offensive to the Alfredo. Then he like this here. You know when a nigga food bad because they keep offering it to you. At Will House. And that nigga brought that food on the road, and here was his excuse. I ain't have all my seasonings. Well, nigga, you left from your house, nigga. Why you ain't get it? Wood chip. Nigga say you ever been to a nigga house with a macaroni with a chicken ain't no good? That's what you want. Ain't no excuse. Listen, but that's not the point. You know when a nigga food nasty, when they be like, man, get some more. You want some? Somebody who food good, they ain't got to do all that. They already know niggas coming with it. You know the food good if Lil Johnny go by. Well, Lil Johnny don't go back, boy. That food ain't hitting, boy.
Johnny gonna eat it. Johnny might be like,
who that, Lil Sam? He ain't lying. That is not lying, boy. He ain't lying. Come on back to this Roman. I just say that because you know Lil Johnny like to eat. I did what we said last night, boy. You remember when Lil Johnny first came around? Lil Johnny said that last night. He said, "Well, we need to bring back that Saturday cooking, boy." So you know, Johnny taking 2-3 plates with it.
Hey, appreciate you.
He said, I mentioned that just, but we need to bring that back.
At the spot on that way.
Johnny said he add to the pot for that. Oh man. Romans 2, man, verse 13. He say, for not the hearers of the law are just before Elohim or righteous, but the doers of Torah shall be justified. So if you hear the law and you don't do it, you're not Zadok before that man outside. Oh, I forgot, boy, that nigga Sean a grade A chef, boy. Woo, woo. I forgot about that. Boy, they're professional. They pay him for his skills. But ain't nobody paid you for yours, boy. Well, you trash with it, boy.
No, man, my skills have.
Maybe they will. I'll never find out. Well, I'd rather go eat at the soup kitchen, boy.
You seen the buffalo.
Oh no, I ain't gonna tell you no lie, boy. And it hurts me to say this here, boy. I'd rather eat jailhouse or prison food, boy. Shoot. It ain't that, but it ain't that.
Trust me, I don't.
Well, that Alfredo was almost on par or below prison food.
Yeah, but I got a whole new recipe now. I got a whole new recipe.
Chicken and salad.
Beef bacon.
Yeah, I got a couple of chicken. Beef ribs, buffalo wings, teriyaki wings, all that.
I just ain't never seen a nigga of your girth that can't cook. It's a real word. All that it means is you're a big man. That's all girls mean. You're a big man.
The dictionary word.
That nigga said a dick.
All the words. Be quiet, so.
Oh, you my nigga, boy. You shut up. Boy, you
I know
my nigga.
every word, but that's a real dictionary. No, that's not saying. He said like $5. Like,
No, I ain't mad at him. That ain't no $5 word. Come on, man. Culinary arts. Come on, y'all. 2 and 14, right? He say, for when the Gentiles which have not law do nature the things contained in law, these having not the law are law unto themselves, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, their thoughts the mean, while accusing or else excusing one another. In the day when Elohim shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua HaMashiach according to my gospel. So what he telling you? He ain't gonna let them lodge in the street. If that word in them and they manifest the actions according to that word, they can come on in. They can come on in. Come on back to Job 31, because we came here for verse 33. We just went ahead and just gave you some more work with it. He said, if I covered my transgressions as Adam by hiding my iniquity in my bosom. Now, we didn't talk about this before, but like I said, it's been a long time. So I want you to look at every word in the verse so that you can understand completely what is being said. Of course, you have kasah, which is to conceal and to hide. You got kaf, and you got samach, and you got hay. And I'll let y'all put that one there together. Kaf, samach, and hay. That is to conceal, to cover, for protection, to clothe oneself. So really, right, you want to conceal your transgressions as Adam. Of course, you know transgressions is pasha, rebellion. We already went about that before, probably what, about 3-4 months ago. I want y'all to always keep in your mind when you hear transgression, your mind should go to rebellion. A transgressor is a rebel, a bucker, like to call sedations. You know what a sedation is? An insurrection. You know what an insurrection is? A rebellion. Just a different way to say rebellion. You know what I'm saying? That's what Barabbas was locked up for. He was locked up for insurrection. See, remember, right? Because there's a difference. I would raise it now. Are you familiar with the differences between sin, transgression, iniquity, and so on and so forth?
Not because all of the basically are.
No, they're actually different. We actually went through them, and they're all actually different. Because sin is missing the mark. And wicked is to be disagreeable. Iniquity is to be perverse. And transgression is to rebel. That's why there's an opportunity. That's why he say he has mercy for sinners, but he don't fool with rebels. Or he don't fool with people who wicked because you disagreeable. See, we went through that so you can see the difference, because we actually went through it in regards to see the ones that he fool with, the ones that he don't. You know what I'm saying? Because they seem to be the same on the surface, but upon further examination, they are not. They're not. You know what I'm saying? He has a real disdain for transgressors. You know what I'm saying? Because you basically are a rebellious child. He has a real disdain for the wicked because you're contentious to him on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Now, somebody who's in iniquity, you just perverse. So you will take the things that are right and purposely make them wrong. But a sinner is somebody who is in you maybe miss the mark, or somebody that is in a perpetual state of sin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think so. We'd have to go back and look at all of them. But there's a difference. Like he mentioned Saul. Saul was a transgressor. That's why you got rid of him. He was a transgressor. He was a rebel. You know what I'm saying? David sinned, so he forgave it. See, Solomon sinned. You know what I'm talking about? People look at it, well, he was in idolatry, but at the end of the day, idolatry came forth of because he sinned by marrying strange women and began to be influenced by the women like you would said you would be. As a matter of fact, Nehemiah said that. Did not outlandish women cause Solomon to sin? Solomon was not a rebel. Solomon was not wicked. He wasn't described in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it, how it's described, each one has a different action, and each one will actually determine how Yahuwah views the individual in that state. Because he said he had mercy to sinners, but he don't fool with transgressors. Though. Then you have the worst of the worst, and those are those who are mired in abominations. Because then those are people that he utterly detests. You know what I'm saying? Like, for lack of a better term, it's not levels, it's just different classifications depending on your behavior. Because when you're a transgressor, you're in a constant and consistent state of rebellion. And that means you in pride because you refuse to humble yourself to follow. Because like that's what he was talking about. Because we went through Saul and David because there was somebody posed a question. It was an interesting question. And it was, would Saul be allowed in the kingdom? You know what I'm saying? I forgot his rationale, but we went through it and looking at the word, oh no, Saul not gonna be there. But the reason, this is why we know Saul ain't gonna be there based off what we looked at last night, right? He said he preached to the spirits in prison, correct? So why would Saul hear a word that he didn't even hear when he was alive? Come on now.
What about Solomon?
Solomon sinned. We just talked about that. Solomon obeyed the word when he was alive, enforced it, but he was influenced because he sinned by marrying strange women. Then in marrying strange women, Deuteronomy 7 came to pass when he said, don't you marry them hoes. Because listen, see, that's your problem. You talk and you don't listen. Because while you trying to come up with something to call that man wicked, you about to pot cool coals of fire. No, but we didn't have this conversation with you before, son. He sinned. The text bears witness to that. Nehemiah 13, to be exact. He says that did not outlandish women cause Solomon to sin. It tells you what his sin was. He was fooling with strange women. And don't the law say if you fool with them strange women, they'll stop you from following me? You know what it said? Is that not what happens? So him following up after idol gods was the byproduct of him sinning. But he was not a rebel. Saul was a rebel. There is no instance where Saul ever did what Yahuwah told him to do. Not one. Where can we read what Yahuwah told Saul to do something and Saul did it? He always did the opposite of what, and then had the nerve to lie and say he did. For it, the people made me do it. So you mean to tell me when Yahushua, when Elohim go preach to the spirits in prison, that Saul was gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump down with that, my G. He wasn't jumping down with it beforehand. And then when Yahuwah cut it, come on, man, Yahuwah cut Saul off, yo. Did he not cut him off? He said he wouldn't answer it by who? By prophet? By Urim and Thummim? Nothing. And what did Saul do to get a word? That means you know Yahuwah don't fool with you, boy. What did Yahuwah tell Samuel? What you crying about this nigga for? Having not reject. Well, once Yahuwah rejects you, bro, you done. What did Yahuwah say when he came to punish Solomon with his sin? What did he say? He said, you know what? He said, I ain't gonna do this in your time. You're gonna go to your grave in peace. He said, I'm gonna leave a trial for David, your father's sake. Come on, man. If the man was wicked, Yahushua would have not stepped on the scene and say, Solomon had all the wisdom in the world, but a greater than Solomon is here. He wouldn't even mention him. Well, righteous men don't big up wicked niggas. Come on, man. Talk to me, man. Why would Elohim come big up Solomon? He ain't finna big up no wicked man. Come on, bro. Come on, if that's the point, then David ought to go to hell too. But he sinned. He sinned. He wasn't a rebel. He didn't pervert the word on purpose. When you commit a sin, you usually gonna commit another. You understand? That's you being in disobedience, in error. But iniquity, transgression, you don't care. See, iniquity, you pervert the word on purpose. Saul perverted the word on purpose. Boy, Samuel told that man, wait till I come back around here and do this here and do that there. He said, man, I didn't think you were going to come. I did it anyway. So now you don't trust you. I ain't going to lie to you, man. Niggas take how they want to take it. Well, if a nigga say Saul getting the kingdom, that nigga evil, he going to hell himself. That nigga out here doing stuff he ain't got no business. I guarantee you, you pull that skirt up, well, you're going to find all manner of doo-doo stains in them drawers. Guarantee you. I guarantee it. If a man who say he know you who will say anything that big up and promote Saul, boy, you know that boy wicked, boy. Ain't nothing good said about Saul in the text. And his whole house got slaughtered. He had but one righteous son. Take that back. He had two. He had two, the one with the bad legs. Yeah. He had two. That might have been. Since his grandson. His daughters was wicked. They killed all his sons. Jonathan was the only real one out the group. Jonathan was willing to be persecuted for the word's sake, rolling with David. But see, that's another conversation for another time. That boy made a covenant, boy. That boy said, I roll without a heat, boy. Bump my daddy. Huh? He was willing to forsake father, lands. He's supposed to be the king. He's supposed to be the king. He's supposed to be the king. What he do? I roll with the real. That's what he said. I roll with the real. You know what I'm talking about? See, we ain't ready for that because we don't like to roll with the real. See, the world like fake niggas because fake niggas make you feel good inside. It's really a reflection of how you feel about yourself. We don't like the real. You know why people don't like the real? Just like we were talking about before. A real nigga gonna make you elevate your standard. And whatever it is. If a nigga real about the weights and you work out with him, you know you're gonna have to go hard to keep up with him. If a man real about hustling, and that's what he do, and whatever venue he hustle in, he ain't competing with you. Because see, I don't believe in competition when it comes to communal activities. I don't believe in none of that. Competition breeds envy and jealousy. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody you supposed to cooperate, not compete. Remember you used to talk about you and your homeboys compete? I would never. What I look like compete with my nigga. Nigga, that's feminine. Compete with my nigga, folks. Nigga, we all gonna, nigga, you do your thing, my nigga. I told you, bro, we were just, bro, my homeboy got his first brick. You wasn't no, oh man, he got a brick. I know this shoe. That's my nigga shoe, boy. We looking like we need to tighten up so we can have one with it. That's how we looking at it. What can we do to help you out, my nigga? Because at the end of the day, you my nigga. I'm not in no competition with my nigga. Oh no, that's a feminine trait. Women be in competition because women live comparatively. I don't compare my life to another man's. That's what people do in this world. Niggas competing. Who got the most knowledge? Who can spit the most precepts? That's whole stuff. I've been told y'all that. That's whole stuff. Yeah, I bring it. That's whole stuff. Nigga ain't no competition. It's supposed to be a cooperative effort. I catch a nigga competing, I know he a hoe. And if I know he a hoe, I know you who can't be with him. I know a lot of things, boy. I know my Abba ain't no hoe. I know that. My Abba ain't no hoe. He's solid. That's a real man. Man's man. Ain't get no more solid than him. Ain't no hoe in him. Not in his blood, not in his spirit, not in his mind, not in his heart, not in his walk. So when I see a nigga representing him and he do whole stuff, I already know you a whole nigga, man. My God ain't with you, bro. Because men don't compete when they doing the same thing. He gonna look at what I can do to help you. Bro, I've been told you that, bro. I know millionaires, bro. Them boys will give you all the game in the world. In the field, they in. They don't even see you as competition, my nigga. They don't even see, because they know I'm going to eat regardless. I don't care about what you got going on. What can I do to help you out so you can be eating with me? See, that's men stuff. See, that's that whole stuff you want to keep a nigga down here. So you can shine and flex. Nigga, I don't even keep niggas like that in my circumference. No, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't do that. I don't do that. You work together, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't work together, man. No, bro, because I'm telling you, that's why he told you not to covet. What he said back into pause for a second. I know I'm getting off the topic, but bear with me. When you look at the whole law, right? He told you if you had lands, what you supposed to do with it. Leave a piece with the fruit at, so if a man hungry, he pass by, he can get it, right? What he told you, right? He told you to love your neighbor is what? He told you to not suffer sin on your neighbor, right? Why you think he turned back around and tell you not to covet? It's at the end of the third, you ain't got to covet nothing your neighbor got. Because all y'all supposed to be working together and look out for each other. So it ain't that type of play. It ain't about, oh, he got more than me or this, that, and the third. That's irrelevant. But if that shit, but see, that's because niggas was raised wrong. You know what I'm talking about? That's your man should help your man's out. You know what I'm talking about? Period, point blank. You help your man's out. That's ain't nothing. Everybody in here know it's a cooperative effort. But I just had this conversation with people. Man, I go to people, bro, and tell them that I offer services that I don't even do. Because he do it. And he do it. And he do it. So they can get the bread. We don't let the bread leave the trap. I ain't gonna be like, I can't make no money off of us. So I'm gonna let it slide. Nigga, that's whole stuff. It ain't got to be like, I don't do that, so I ain't gonna say nothing. My nigga do it. And that ain't on no word tip, my nigga. That should just be your character. That should just be who you is. If you look that man in the face and say that's your friend. See, bump all that Facebook junk. You don't support me and you don't post my stuff. Man, bump all that, my nigga. Can you put some money in a nigga pocket? If you got the ability to put some money in a nigga pocket and you don't do it, you's a bust. You know what I'm talking about? No, bro, we ain't on that. We ain't on that. If you can, and I'm talking about that junk ain't just on no business tip, bro. That junk could be a job. That junk could be any type of connections you got. And that junk go beyond just getting money, though. Because you're not trying to benefit off the man. You trying to prop the man up so y'all can stand side by side. Just in case if he fall, you can stand him back up. And if you fall, he can stand you back. That's the whole purpose of the word, man. You know what I'm saying, man? We got the game twisted when it comes to that. Put it this way. I guarantee you this way. I'm going to show you why the word does not promote competition. Come on over to Luke chapter 22, and I'll get back on task. I really wish you would stop dropping this junk on Shabbat show. I be getting call after call. There you go, Michael Glover, boy. You ain't right, boy. You ain't right, boy. Luke 22, man. 22. I still got to get you right on over there, don't I, Michael? Right with what? Well, you go ahead and mention it. I got time. Maybe, maybe not. What was all? Oh, that take 5 minutes. Give me a second. That take 5 minutes. Oh, she talking about with the sin, the iniquity, and the transgression. Luke 22 and 24. Well, you've been missing in action, boy. You ain't right. Boy, you're 3 hours late. We ain't seen you all week. Was you that? Oh, you were there last time. I take that back. But we know you don't make the during the week service. We already know that. You got the pattern for that. But you ain't right today, boy. You late. Like 5 o'clock. Well, close enough to 5. So come on with it, right? 22 and 24. There was also strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest. Does that not sound like competition? If they compete to see who the greatest, look what he said. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. See, anytime you compete and you looking to benefit off somebody, because you got some man of authority, look what the Lord told him, but that you shall not be so, but he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chiefest, he that do serve. So there you go right there. That man don't stamp that. That man say, if you're going to compete, not don't compete, humble yourself and do for your people. Humble yourself and do for your people. Why? Because it's a cooperative effort. That's the whole key. That's why I mentioned y'all that dynamic about a woman being masculine and a man being feminine. because it leads to competition. And that's why marriages amongst our people don't work, because men and women are competing with each other of who is the greatest. That can never bring forth anything of functionality and benefit to anyone, because you can't be a competition. When there's competition, you seek to outdo. When you seek to outdo, you don't seek to play your part. When you don't play your part, everything get out of whack. Can't do that. You can, but you're not gonna get the benefits. I got you on what you put up, Mr. Ron. I'm back to it. We covered Job 31 and 33. Does anybody have anything with that Kaf, Samach, and Hay? I know we went off on a tangent. Kaf, Samach, and Hay.
I say your work is separate you short.
Saran got the cut a covenant through sacrifice. Hey, Ariel, Renee, come here.
Excuse me, he did say the way you
Oh, yes. A cup. Job 31. If you don't put your dress down. I'm gonna say I can. Hey, how did I think about it? Sean, I gotta put you in there, right? If any of y'all on here that is on the stream anyway, I can deal with what you asked with on the Facebook live stream in the group and not on here. You just put that in there. Facebook handle, I can add you to the group and you can see it on that stream and do it like that. I'm not gonna put that on here. So you got cough, right? Open, end, allow, pain, feel, subdue, and work. You got Samak, right? So we go over here for this Samak. Because I thought I had put you in there, Sean, already, but I have not. I don't believe. And after I put you in there, you can put your wife in there. And then you got thorn and to support and to protect. So you want to look at how the work of Yahushua protects. What is it protecting you from? Yeah. Feel what I'm saying? Now, let's look at the next thing, right? Again, like I said, we got transgression, which is to rebel. Now you have hiding. See, if you have iniquity in here, right? That's avon. See what it says? Perversity, depravity, iniquity, guilt. Guilt as great or guilt of condition. So you see, there's a difference when you're dealing with iniquity, because I think also with like sin, if I'm memory serving, it was just in my head too. Y'all willing to come back. Because when you look at it, right, that word was perverted. Or what Satan spoke to Eve. He perverted it. How did he pervert it? He told her that she would be as God and that she would not die. Because we haven't even read that 1 Timothy 2 that I called for earlier. About to read it in a moment. Look at hiding, right? It is to ma, it is to bury or to conceal. Now with that, you got tet, meme, and ayin. I'm sorry, I mean tet, meme, and noon, excuse me. Tet, meme, and noon. Tet, meme, and noon. High, taman is the word. That's not gonna show your results. Yeah, I'm looking for it. That junk won't let me pull it up and put you in there, man.
Secret.
Hide.
Hide.
Yes, sir. Oh no, you already in there. It don't make no difference. Been in there about a hot year. You're not the assembly of the firstborn. You already in there. You can put your wife in. You can add your wife in it though. If it's anybody else who want to be in it, you let me know. I put you in there. If you don't let me know, I ain't gonna put you in there. And that's just pretty much how that rolls. But Tet, Meme, and Noon. Question the secrecy in your life? Right. Tet might be the one to throw you off, right? You got secrecy, you got contain, you got generosity, you got snake. Saran got to be contained by the ruach of life. And that's what you would look at, because if he bears your iniquity, that is what will happen. You understand? So now look at it, right? Because he's dealing with, what did he say? If I covered my transgressions as Adam and buried my iniquity by hiding my iniquity in my bosom. Let's look at bosom. Bosom is cold. Remember, that's your bosom. You know what that is? A cherisher. With that one there, you got simply cot and bot. Cot and bot. Cherish. Or being bosom, cherisher, i.e. bosom. Bosom is only used once, or this word is only used once in the text, and that is right here. Cold, cot and bot.
Protect the family.
Protect the family. I give you that, because ain't that's what a woman do when she lay, like they say, you feel protected when you lay in a woman's bosom, boy?
No.
Stop lying, boy. I feel safe here. Separated to the sun. Come over here to 1 Timothy 2, man. We ain't seen you, boy, so you got to catch these jokes. We get you last week because that wasn't your fault. 1 Timothy 2 and 11. Hey, Malik, you know you dead wrong, boy. Now I understand. You got hunger cries. Oh no? You don't have hunger cries? Hey, Malia. What's up, Mordecai? Hey, Malia. Oh, you don't like the edges on your bread?
I might be having that same look.
Glazed.
I don't know what you want to say.
I don't know what you want me to say. 1 Timothy 2 and 11. Well, bump it, man. I back it all the way up because that's just how I feel right now. Verse 3. I add some extra components in it. Just on the house. He say, for this is good and acceptable in the sight of Elohim, our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and come to the knowledge of the truth. So there's one Elohim, one mediator between Elohim and men, the man Yahushua HaMashiach, who gave himself a ransom for all to be testified in due time. That's what we about to read with Adam, with the first and the last. That a man who gave himself a ransom for all to be testified in due time. You know what a ransom is? No, I'm being serious. You don't know what a ransom is? You ain't never heard of ransom money?
Ransom, yeah, like I guess it's kind of like collateral money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being dead serious. It's similar to that because you pay a ransom to get something. Like if somebody kidnapped your mama, you pay a ransom to get it back or to redeem it. We just read that last night, didn't we? In Psalm 49, that a man can't pay a ransom for his brother's life. Didn't Yahushua say, I did not come to be served, but to serve? and to make my life a what? A ransom for many. That's the point of we going back to what we mentioned to you, which was Mashiach. Well, Adam is representative of Mashiach, that he voluntarily ransomed himself. Now, of course, that's only framed in the context of the gospel.
Give me the water.
If you read it on face value, then you're not going to see that. If you understand the gospel, then you know that he actually voluntarily offered himself and then sought to hide the sin, like Mashiach will come to hide the sin. When you look at it on a higher level, when you look at it on a regular level, oh yeah, that boy out of pocket. But listen what it say, right? Whereunto I'm ordained a preacher and an apostle. Let me ask you this here, son. What's the difference between a preacher and an apostle?
Oh yeah, a preacher is appointed because all of them they was appointed preachers and all of that.
Pause. Slow down before you answer. What's the difference between a preacher and an apostle? The office and the function, not what somebody else did. What's the difference between a preacher and an apostle? Because they have different functions.
Yeah, the apostle is taught directly by the Lord. A preacher has to be taught by an apostle.
That's not the fun. That's not the function of a preacher. Preacher has a different function. You know the difference between the functions between a preacher and an apostle?
I know apostle, I'm traveling on pastor, I would say is over.
Not a pastor, a preacher.
Yeah, preacher.
You know the difference between a preacher and an apostle? You were born in the 90s. Did you know the difference between a preacher and an apostle? There's a slight difference. Slight difference.
Hey, sir, no.
Slight difference. What about you, Stanley? I'm trying because I'm only asking this because something should come to your mind and something we have dealt with in the past. And that's what I was shooting for. What's the Hebrew word for preacher? Do you recall?
I said,
Well, cool. Coalesce. What does it define that a preacher does? He arranges sentences. Now, see, the difference with an apostle is he gets his ability to arrange the sentence directly from Elohim. He's got direct revelation of the gospel. But you would look at Ezra as being a preacher because he arranged sentences and Nehemiah to cause the people to understand the reading. You know what I'm saying? Because it said that Solomon was a preacher. But how could Solomon would be a preacher when he was of the tribe of Judah? He ain't preaching nobody. He ain't preaching nobody. All Solomon was what? That? A prophet. That's all Solomon was. Solomon was a prophet. You knew Solomon was a prophet?
Yeah.
As long as you know. How you know Solomon a prophet?
Because you read Proverbs. Prophecies always prophecy.
But how you know Solomon a prophet?
I mean, look at what he wrote in Proverbs.
But how you know Solomon a prophet?
Because he prophesied a lot of stuff.
But how you know Solomon a prophet? So I'm asking you this for a reason. I'm not being funny.
I mean, that's how I know he's a prophet, because he prophesied.
So you would be deceived if that's what you tell me.
So how would I be deceived?
Because you can't tell me how he's a prophet.
Because he prophesied stuff about the Lord and the kingdom.
But how you know he a prophet? I'm being dead serious, yo.
I guess because the book said it.
The book never said he was a prophet. Eric, you know how Solomon is a prophet? Show you right, Saran. You know how Solomon was a prophet? Did you know how Solomon was a prophet?
As far as him writing Proverbs and yes, that's prophesying on the books.
Yeah, but how you know he a prophet?
How do I know? I mean, because even that, this.
So, Muffin, do you know how Solomon is a prophet? And there's your answer. Because Yahuwah appeared to him twice in a vision and a dream. And what does the law say? He said, if a man be a prophet, I, Yahuwah, shall make myself known to him in a vision and a dream. That's how you know he was. That's why I kept asking you that. That's why I asked her that again. But I wasn't being funny. Because you would need to know that. If Yahuwah ain't appeared to nobody in no vision and no dream, he ain't no prophet. But I mean 99.9% of these niggas out here talking about they prophet telling a whole face lie. They lying on your father. They lying on your dad. You cool with that?
Would you ask somebody like, did you
I would know what to ask and how to ask it to get that information out of them if I wanted to know that.
Prophets of the Lord.
I don't even pay them attention because they believe that they prophets because they're reading out the book. So I know that you are a man of such a low grade intelligence that I would not even converse with you on my word stats.
Put in the train.
Huh? The first time he appeared to him, Solomon was praying about the ability to judge the people, and Yahuwah appeared to him and say, since you didn't ask for your enemy's life and you didn't ask for riches, this, that, there, and the third, I'm gonna do this for you. The second time, I forget the exact reason why. That's why Yahuwah was mad with Solomon, because he said, I appeared to you twice. You around here doing that. That's a big thing if Yahuwah would take the time to manifest himself to you openly. You know what I'm saying? That means he fooled with you. Or just people you got Yahuwah messed up. You know what I'm saying? If Yahuwah fool with you, he fool with you. So he's expecting unending, undying loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't fool with everybody. And when we talk about fooling with somebody, for him to appear to you or to give you something that's from him, oh yeah, bro. Can't be sideways with it.
It was like a dream about like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you seeing, you said that came.
No, we're not talking about a dream coming from you. He appears to you in a vision and a dream and let you know that that's him. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to dreams, I'm not a discerner of dreams. I can't tell you if a dream comes from Yahuwah or not. But one thing I can tell you, if Yahuwah appears to you in a vision and a dream, oh, you're going to know. You're going to be terrified. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to know it. It's going to be unmistakable. But the presence of Elohim in and of itself is a terror. You know what I'm saying? Most people can't even begin to speak on being in his presence. It will cause you to be speechless, your heart to become still, and your body to freeze.
All of them thinking and falling to their knees.
Just gonna die.
You're going to feel like you dead. You're going to feel like you dead. And that ain't even something, I ain't even talking about tangibly seeing his presence. I'm talking about feeling it. And look here, man, that ain't no quote unquote church experience. He don't do that in a type of situation. Well, he do that junk when you be by yourself to the house. If you do it when other people around, they gonna think you crazy. Because they not feeling that presence, so they don't even understand. And I'm telling you this from real life experience. I ain't talking about what somebody done told me. Niggas, the same way that people when Saul had his experience, and they were like, man, what he going through? Because even though they was right there with him, they did not see, hear, nor feel nothing that he was experiencing, because the presence of Elohim was not meant for them. All they knew was there was a light.
They see the light, they ain't hear the voice.
They ain't hear the voice, they didn't feel the presence of none of that. When Elohim make his presence be known to a man, that is for that man. If somebody in here felt the presence of Elohim, nobody in here would wonder why that level of fear would have struck that individual. Like, what's wrong with that nigga? You know what I'm saying? Whole time like this here, bro, your voice go away. I'm telling you, like this Ron to put it, you fall down as dead. And you'll feel like you finna die. It's that serious, bro. That man's presence is terror and awe-inspiring. Without question. That's why most people never come into his presence, because they don't fear him and trust him and they don't hope in him. Like I told you, in this world, people love the fake, not the real. People will toss away the real to cleave to the fake to make themselves feel superior. You know what I'm saying? That's in every aspect of life. Every aspect of life. That's why when you see anybody who are authentic people, meaning that they're true to themselves, they seem to catch a lot of ridicule and they don't have a lot of friends. The same way that if you are a real man, now I'm gonna say something. I heard BOA say something the other day. Now he wasn't lying, boy. If he ain't never told the truth, he told the truth this year. You're not supposed to be with a whole bunch of different women. He was talking about as regards to the word is concerned. You're not supposed to be around here sleeping with no 1,000, no 100, no 50, no 20 different women. You weren't created for that purpose. Every man was literally created to be with one woman. You know what I'm saying? Not just sleeping with this woman, sleeping with that woman, sleeping. You weren't made for that. That's why stuff be out of whack. But people are doing that because even if a woman is feminine, she can still challenge you, and niggas don't want to be better. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. That woman don't want to be better when she see that this man is actually masculine. So they will go for the fake instead of dealing with the real and elevating their level of play. That's why people will nitpick about all the things they don't like about what a person doing. Because that's the reason and the rationale that they done created in their mind of why they can leave this person alone. And that's what they do with you. I don't like this. He narcissistic. He misogynist. He this. He that. So they can leave him alone. Man, you ain't never met too many people that just broke up with somebody and didn't craft some type of narrative to justify why they left him alone. They got to come up with something unless it's actually real and tangible of why I can't fool with this person no more. Most people who walk away from you, they come up with some cockamamie reason of why they don't fool with him no more. All to make themselves feel better because there's some manner of elevation that must be done in order to deal with this man. You a man, bro. Everyone in your presence is going to have to elevate themselves to be in your presence because you will not entertain anything less than that. Because anything less than that is detrimental to your psyche. It's detrimental to your objectives. And it can't be entertained. To get me off track, I refuse. You know what I'm saying? When a woman see that, she knows she's dealing with a man. Because I've already told you this before. No woman wants you to put her first. She know if you put her first, you value her over what you ought to be doing. All women know men are supposed to be of purpose. And having a purpose is something that they're working to accomplish for the betterment of themselves, their families, their communities, and their friends. And if you put her above that, she cannot respect you because you're doing what she's supposed to do. Because the book says that her desire shall be to her husband. So she's going to put her husband before anything else. But this world has told that woman that she should put herself before her husband, and that's where you got the competition coming at. You know what I'm saying? And see, you have to be willing as a man to be alone and to deal with a woman who will want you to compromise that. That's why if you are an actual man, you will not have the opportunity to sleep with as many women as someone who is not a man, because you're going to choose quality women over sleeping with a bunch of women. See, I told my homeboy that back in the day when we was jits. I told him this, like, bro, I would rather have one solid chick than to sleep with 100. Nigga, I'm 19 years old, bro. I already understood that concept. I thank the Lord. Because I already knew the value of one quality woman is greater than a dalliance with a whore. Because that time with that whore don't benefit or profit me. That quality woman gonna profit me because she's going to assist me in what I am doing. Because if she's assisting me in what I'm doing, that benefits her. So it's in her best interest to assist me because that benefits her. A whore just wants your resources. She don't want to help you to get anything. All she wants is or she will help you enough to the point where she can drain your resources. And then after she's drained your resources and your mental and emotional stability, then you've tasted after this hoe, begging for her to drain some more. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do that, my G. You can't do that, man. You gotta have. I'm telling you, man. I say that, and this is without the word, bro. A quality woman is better than anything, and it is better to be alone, bro, and be on your grind and be on what you're supposed to be doing, than to entertain women of low value. And if you can't even determine what a woman of low value is, you don't even have any business entertaining women. Period. You know what I'm saying? See, it's not a woman's job to determine a man of high value, but daddy's supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? But since that's not the case in this society, she needs to have some man to tell her that's a high value man. You might want to, but again, the thing is where things are backwards. I told you before, and I'm gonna move on. The man is taught that he's supposed to prove that he could be a husband to a woman, and the woman does not have to prove anything. And if she has to prove that she can be a wife, then she talking about, I know my worth and I ain't gonna do all this. I ain't got to do this for this man. And that's why these women ain't got no man. Because there ain't no real man gonna be like, keep breaking his neck to prove that he's worthy enough to take care of you and teach you and guide you. But you're not gonna prove to me that you actually a wife. Because it's more important. We done talked about this before. A man can't destroy a woman's life, not in comparison to how a woman can destroy a man's. Women destroy their own lives by moving off of pleasure, insecurity, and impulse. You know what I'm saying? Men destroy their lives because they think foolishly and not making thought out decisions when they do things. Because you the leader, so it's always your fault. Even when it's not your fault, it's your fault because you're supposed to seen it coming. You're supposed to seen it coming. You understand? It's serious now. Even when it's not your fault, it's your fault because you're supposed to be the three-dimensional thinker to have the foresight to see the pitfall in the road. And when you don't see it, then what you want to do? Be emotional, play the feminine role, play the victim, and blame the woman. Blame society. Blame the white man. Blame your parents. That's whole stuff. You can suck that up, take that on the chin, nigga. Analyze and do better on the next go round. That's all you can do. You know what I'm talking about? 1 Timothy 2. Verse 7, whereunto I am ordained a preacher and an apostle, and I speak the truth in Mashiach, and lie not, a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and verity. I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up Kadash hands without wrath and doubting. That's when Mashiach was on the stage. Remember? Did he have up Kadash hands? Did he doubt? He said, Abba, into your hands I commend my breath. Did he have wrath in it? Abba, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That's the beauty of the Lord. That's the beauty of your master right there. That's how you supposed to conduct yourself. When you lift your hands up to pray, you ought not to be doubting. You shouldn't have no wrath, no anger, no malice in your heart. You might as well kept that prayer to yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You sitting here praying and you bad in the heart. We're gonna lay down. You know what I'm talking about for real though? Well, if you got wrath in your heart, if you got doubt in your heart, well, go talk to somebody who got a little bit stronger faith than you. That's all I'm gonna tell you. If you got doubt in if you feel like you praying and you doubt, you need to stop and you need to call the person who you feel like got the stronger faith than you, and you need to talk to him. Because what he told Peter, he said, after you converted, do what? Go strengthen your brethren. What is the strength? Trust in Yahuwah. Trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. Ain't that what it say? Well, you better get on the phone with somebody who's stronger than you. Ain't that what the book tell you? Strong ought to support the weak. I've been telling you that for years. Ain't no shame if you say your faith weak. Ain't nothing to be ashamed of. What the shame is, your faith weak and you stay like that and die. This ain't that type of environment. Nobody finna pick cold and poke at you and laugh at you because you say your faith weak. Because I'm a clown a nigga if I find out they did it. Straight up. Am I lying though? I'm gonna clown. If you clown somebody because they faith weak, I'm gonna clown the nigga who clowned you. Because you got to be one hell of a nigga to do something like that. You got to be the most despicable, horrible individual in the world to do somebody like that because they say they ain't strong as you. You a despicable, vile person to do some junk like that. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't respect it. I don't care about what no camp do. I'm just telling you what we not gonna do. I can't speak for what nobody do in they trap on their block. That's their business. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about on this block. Oh, we're not doing that over here, bro. We're not doing that over here. No, that's not gonna happen. This ain't the first time I done said that. I'm just letting reiterate. We don't do that over here, bro. He said, I speak the truth of Mashiach and lie not, a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and verity. I already read that, excuse me. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which become women professing godliness with good works. Let the women learn in silence with all subjection. I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived. See, again, right? Adam was not deceived. Adam knew what it was. Satan didn't step to Adam and tell him that lie. Just see, sin did not deceive Yahusha. Sin deceived Yasharal. Again, see, we going past that. Follow me now. He said, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. She rebelled. How do we know she rebelled? Come over here to Genesis chapter 3. This is how you know she rebelled. It's like this here, right? And we go read in Isaiah chapter 1, and he said, an ox know his crib, and the master his children. He said, but my children don't know. He said, they were rebellious seed. See, we ain't talking about no woman per se. We talking about Yasharal. See, so I know sometimes y'all be like, boy, he be talking about them women, man. Look at man. You know, it's a shame that you have to tell anybody that. But a woman who has a virtuous and righteous and just and sober, upright mind is the most beautiful creature upon the face of the earth. But a woman with a whorish, rebellious mind is disgusting and detestable. And as the word says, she's a shame and a rottenness in a man's bones. You know what I'm talking about? And as the book say, that's the same token of a pig with a jewel in its snout. It's a fair woman without discretion. You know what I'm talking about? Because we already done told you, boy, a woman who fear Yahuwah, what she should be. Yeah, we ain't praising no skank whore. I don't care what the world say. You should protect all black women, no matter if she a whore. You're lying to me. Tell her daddy to protect her stinking behind. You know what I'm talking about? You want to act like a hoe? Then shoot, deal with what hoes deal with. Same way you want to be a dope boy, then deal with dope boy deal with. Don't call on the Lord to protect you when you working evil. So don't call on me to protect you when you working evil, ho. Call your daddy. Call your granddaddy. I don't risk my life for you, ho. You know what I'm saying? You got to be stupid. You know why I'm saying that? Because that's what the Lord said. He said, I ain't risking my life for that, ho. Ain't that what he said? Because I ain't doing it. Let your enemies get you. You want to open your feet to everybody that passed by? See, that don't make people feel good on the inside. That's why they don't like us. When I say us, I'm talking about all of them. That's why they don't like it. We don't make you feel good on the inside if you're contrary. But if you love the Lord and you trust in his salvation, then your heart rejoices when you come on this block. That's what it's going to be. Genesis chapter 3, though. Verse 1, if you would. Now the serpent was more subtle than any piece of the field which Yahuwah Elohim made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? You see how he started that off? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim have said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. She bucked because she told the man what she was supposed to do. And you know, we don't have to read the conclusion because you know what she did. That's why he said she was in a transgression. She rebelled. Well, let's read it anyway. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. See, this other thing too with a lot of Hebrew women online say, see, where was Adam at? He was supposed to be protecting his wife. No, he wasn't. She was supposed to do what Elohim told her to do. He gave her the word of Elohim, and she's supposed to catch it. Who gave Yasharal the word of Elohim? Elohim, the son of Elohim to be specific. Ain't that who gave it to him? Ain't Yahuwah the one gave it to him? Well, Yahuwah and Yahusha the same person, so who gave it to him? The son of Elohim. They ought to listen. They ought to listen. Had they not, should they listen? Straight up. We've been talking about that. I've been told you that. Well, if you got a nigga and a nigga hit on DM, you know what a real woman gonna do? What a real woman gonna do? If a woman got a man and a nigga slide in her DM trying to holler at her, what a real woman gonna do? Exactly. You know what happened when you entertain it? Oh, you wanted that. Because the nigga should be in your inbox having a conversation with himself. Real woman ain't even gonna respond. She ain't even gonna respond. If she respond, that's a get rid of that. And guess what he did? Got rid of Eve. Got rid of him. What did he do? Got rid of Yasharal. Because you entertained. But that's that person that laughed. That's why he had to come. That's why he had to come. He say, for Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof. Hey, all y'all need to sit down. I don't know what y'all be getting walking around for. Leah, find yourself somewhere to sit. Come on with it, let it roll.
Hey,
For Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them were both open, they knew they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So she bucked. And she didn't buck to, but see, she entertained the conversation because she already wanted to do it. All she needed was a rhyme, reason, and an excuse. See, and that goes back to what does James tell you? When a man is enticed, he's enticed by what? Your own desire. That's what you wanted to do. She wanted to eat from the knowledge. She wanted to learn the law. Because we know if you learn the law will make you what? It'll make you wise. The law don't make you perfect. The law can never make you perfect. Because the law is wisdom, it's skill, because it's a knowledge of what? What's wrong and what's right. So you will have wisdom because you have the ability to know what to do and what not to do. So she felt like if I take that, I'll be on par with my husband because she wanted to compete. She wanted to be equal to him. And that was a deception of her emotions, if you will. She just got deceived by her feelings. Because sin attacks your feelings. When I say feelings, meaning your flesh, your emotions, your affections. That's what it attacks. That's what it attacks. That's why I've always told you for years, you can never live and think by them. You can feel them. Can't live by them. The minute you live by your emotions, you're living as a woman. You can feel them. Don't get me wrong. If you got emotions, feel them. But more than anything, it's two things you got to learn how to do. Not just feel them, understand them, and control them. That's what men do. You understand them, and you control them. That's the one deficiency that men don't have over a woman. A woman can understand her emotions. She may not always be able to control them, but she can understand them. She's allowed that space to understand them. That's why I say we don't do that here. You're going to be allowed the space to understand why you feel the way that you feel, so that you don't bottle that stuff up and be full of rage, full of sadness, and lead to depression or wrath. That's not beneficial for you as a man. You understand? That's why we talk about the stuff we be talking about sometimes, man. So that get that stuff out. It's not beneficial for you to hold that. Because let me tell you something, man. Yes, sir. Tonight. Because I know I probably didn't told you this before. You come from an environment where you feel like people gonna clown you and belittle you if you discuss what you feel and what you're going through. That don't happen here because we know we done that stuff too many times. Just like you have forgot that you mentioned your childhood experiences, and everybody in here already knew that. So you know why that's beneficial for people to know? They know what not to do and what to do because they know what can set you off in a negative fashion. So an individual's not going to do that because they have a care for you as a person. Just before you even start dealing with the word, why was I as a person would say or do something that I know would purposely injure someone off of some trauma that they incurred that probably wasn't even their fault. You know what I'm saying? So that's allow a space. It's supposed to be therapeutic. Allow space for healing. So we already talked about this before. If you ain't healed, ain't nowhere in the world gonna be able to come through it and do what it's supposed to do. Because you got burdens you carry. You got extra luggage. See, we want you to unload the luggage. You ain't got to carry that with you. Because you know why? See, I want you to be the best version of yourself. And you know what the best version of yourself is? Yahusha. You can't be the best version of yourself if you still you. The best version of yourself is to be a son of Elohim. Can't get no better than that. Right or wrong? You know what I'm saying? But I understand at the same token, if you've been dealing with people who do that, it's very difficult to be in a space where you could allow yourself to release burdens so that you could be the best version of yourself. We don't do that here. I told you it's a different type of trap. We might laugh and correct jokes, but jokes is one thing. Real life is enough. You understand what I'm telling you? But not near time have you ever seen us have a real conversation. You seen anybody crack no jokes? Have you seen it? We don't do that. Joking, that's just for fun. We enjoy each other. Anybody crack a joke anytime you want to. That goes for anybody in the room. But when we talk about real life, but that's not no laughing matter, man. That's real life. You understand? Because guess what? When everybody walk up out this door, well, they got to stand for Elohim when they walk up out this door. So when you walk in this trap, you walking in this trap to be prepared to operate on the other side of this door. And you ain't gonna stand before this man and you're not gonna stand before this man and be like, I didn't prepare you to walk on the other side of this door. See, I'm not gonna go to hell because I ain't prepared you to walk on the other side of this door. I will not. I utterly refuse. That is here. You might feel like, man, he be messing with me like this here. When you feel like a nigga being harsh with you, I'm just doing what your daddy should have done 25 years ago. That's all.
I'll hear you with them.
Come on back over. We still in Genesis 3. We're gonna spill this over into later on tonight too. Come on back over here to about where verse what? About verse 10. And he said, I heard a voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. He said, who told you was naked? Have you eaten of the tree wherever I've commanded you that you should not eat? The man said, the woman you have gave to be with me. She gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Now, this is where we sit back and we go to looking at what we came here to look at. Did Yasharal give him of the tree that he ate from that caused him to die? Did Yasharal give Yahusha the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Did he eat the law? Did the woman give him the law to die by? What you say?
Say, no, she didn't give him the law.
You sure?
How can she give him the law? She's going to keep him the law.
You showed them.
I mean, that's my responsibility.
I want y'all to think about that before we proceed, or should I just leave y'all to think about it for later? So we're going back on to 3 hours. Right here it says, the woman that you gave to be with me gave me of the tree, and I did eat. You told us the question. I mean, how that relate to the Lord? Can you tell me? You could say the sour wine. In Numbers 14, it said that he should kill Yasharal as what? One man. How did Yahusha die? We talked about this already. Did not Yahusha die because he partook of the tree of knowledge of good and evil? What was he killed by? The law. He died by the same thing that Adam died by. But what did Yasharal die by? He said, Yasharal, you have destroyed yourself. But in me is your what? Your health. So in reality, they gave him the tree to eat from because of their conduct. Because they're Eve. And they ate of the tree and perished. And he came and ate of the tree because they ate, because what he did talk about this here before. In the text, you gave him your sins. See, your sins is you giving him the knowledge, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because you gave him your sins and he had to eat them. But we're going to get that in more detail. Because that's why Adam died. Because remember, Adam was not deceived. Was Yahushua deceived? Was he really in rebellion? He knew what he was doing. You don't think Adam knew what he was doing? Remember what we just read, right? If I cover my iniquity like Adam and hide your sins in my bosom. So then Yahushua come and cover your sin and hide your iniquity. See, that's twofold. What the high priest supposed to do on atonement? One man. Man, hallelujah for Yahushua the word. You are willing, man. We're gonna spend the band about 8:15. And do it again. Again, remember we talking about the land being slain from the foundation of the world. So when you're looking at the land being slain from the foundation of the world, Adam died because of the rebellion of his wife. So Yahushua died because of the rebellion of his wife. So you were willing, we're picking this up by 8:15. Keep it rolling. I'm gonna do that off the count. I bless y'all at the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing by 8:15. Miss Wright.